Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here today, and you should be too. And today we've got this here thing. And it's a pre-made piece of, no, it's a pre-made pendant. And this I picked up at the craft store. It was on the sale rack for $1.50. And I couldn't pass it up. And I looked at it and I'm like, well, it's a piece of agate. Nice agate slab. And it's not bad. But I looked at it and I'm thinking, yeah, that could be better. I mean, it's cut fairly nicely. But the surface is flat, as you can see. It's flat. It's flat. It's got a slight bit of undercutting on there. This side has a tremendous amount of undercutting. Plus there's pits in there. Can you see the pits? Let's see if we can see the pits. Kind of hard to see in the camera. This side looks pretty nice. It doesn't have an extremely good polish. I mean, it has a pretty good polish, but you can see there it's kind of a little bit undercut and could be polished better. And I'm thinking we could make this a lot better than it is. Maybe change the shape. And, well, you know, we could make this better. And for $1.50, I thought, why not? So that's what we're going to do. We are going to see what it's like to take a piece of I don't want to say crap jewelry, even though it is crap jewelry, so jewelry, and see if we can make it into something better. You know, especially since you got this super flat side that's sort of crappily reflective. So first thing we're going to do is take off this. Oh wow, that's really on there. There's probably some sort of it's like oh, look at that. Yeah, this is a plastic coated. You can see that it's metal coated plastic material. As soon as I bent that, you can see the metal flakes off there. See? I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it, with using this stuff, but that's going to go wonky pretty quick. Wow, that is really on there. I think once we get it broken, it's not zoomed that way. I think I need a bigger pair of pliers. Oh, there it is. Wow. Okay, once we get one. Well, that was pretty quick. Well, we don't need this anymore, and we definitely don't need this anymore. Oh yeah, you can see in there. Look. That's just some sort of, that might even be some sort of metal clay that they coated with who knows what. But there you have it. Okay, so get all this crapple out of the way. Into the bin with ye. Alright, so we have this slab. Okay, and it's, wow, that's a lot lighter with that off there. That was pretty heavy. So we have this slab. And as I was saying before, this side here, there are some holes. You can see pitting that goes down into that side. Doesn't look too bad. But this side has a lot more character to it. And it does not seem to have those pit holes in. So this is the side we're going to mess with. And I figured we can pull out the old template here and see if we can find a shape that might maximize the purdiness of this. And I think actually that one might be what we're looking for there. See, this sort of shield shape isn't truly that appealing. I think this shape would be quite a lot better. Adjusting the lights, maybe that will help or hinder. I don't know. So Set this on here like that. I didn't feel like cutting this up into smaller pieces or anything. Oh boy, there we go. Boy, that is kind of rough. And my pen is not penning really well. That's the word you use, penning. Okay, and there we got a much nicer shape. You can see now how much that shape was out. Not bad. Is that going to come off? Yep, that's going to come right off there. Try putting that on there again, and then I'll let it dry. Not sure. They may have put something over the surface of that. There it is. They may have some kind of coating on there too. That's hard to tell, but I'm just going to let that dry on there. So then we have something to go by. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll take this over to the wheel, and we are going to try to make this stone the best version of itself. Okay? Okay, we're back. And as you can see, I had to redo the marker because, well, it kept coming off, and I had to break out a bigger Sharpie. So, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, that's a pretty tough piece of agate. I'm afraid if I do it this way, I'm going to chip up the edges too bad, so I'm going to have to try and get that shape down this direction. But at least we have a line to go by. Yeah, that was a micron pen that I was trying to use, and they don't hold very well. And even the Sharpie, look at that, it's starting to wear off. Gee, that surface is really smooth. I'm going to have to be gentle with touching it. That smooth surface just won't hold a Sharpie, or especially the micron pens. The micron pens don't seem to hold real well at all. They're good for what they're good for, but they're not good for what they aren't good for. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's take this down to the edge. Once we get the edge established, then we won't have to worry so much about it. You know, I like taking jewelry like this, not old pendants, but pendants that you can pick up pretty cheap, and you know, they're not that hot looking, but you can make them better. And that's what we like to do here. We like to make things better than they were. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it to start with, really, but let's make it a better version of itself. I mean, you can pick up something inexpensive that way, and maybe make something nice out of it. That's pretty cool. I think so, anyway. So we got a lot to do over here. Let's work on that. And what I was saying, if you're cutting away this way on it, it tends to chip out the back side a lot, back here. And then that sort of, if it's a pen where you can see both sides, then, you know, you don't want to see all those chips on there, and it takes a good bit to knock those chips off. And sometimes you really don't want to do that. So if you can avoid doing that, like slicing it, you know, shaping it this way, then that's the way you should do it. That's what I think, anyway. This 80 grit wheel, that's pretty aggressive, so it will chip up things. On the softer stones, it doesn't seem to chip it as badly, but on stones that have a higher Mohs hardness, it will tend to chip them up. on the bottom side. And I can feel here that it's actually chipping it way. You can see that it's chipping that edge up even this way. But that's not as bad as it would be if we do it the other way. So we're pretty darn close. I'm going to take this down just a little bit more. Yeah, this is a pretty big pendant. Could have probably cut 2 smaller stones out of it. But let's go for a big one. Because why not? Okay, we're almost there. We have a little bit more to go here. And, yep, we're pretty good. So I'll have to do a little more on this end. I'm afraid to wipe it because it's going to take the... let me see. Yeah, it wipes it off. But I think we're ready to go and do the setting edge. We have a nice, fairly good thick piece there, so let's just work on the setting edge. And of course, this side's going to be the face side. Bigger stone like this is a lot easier to work with at times, especially without a stick. Now, is this one going to go on a stick? I don't know. We shall see how it looks. And you can see I got pieces of it chipping off. I seem to have a fairly good setting edge started. Angle it a little bit more. You know, some cutters have a ratio. They put like a 60-degree bevel on and a 45-degree bevel, or 45 and 60, something like that. And you can go by that, or you can do it by ear. Or here we do it by rubber chicken. Okay, now we got the start of a setting edge. Take that down a little bit more. Some would put a bevel, nice bevel around that whole edge and then make the top flat. But I don't really like that. Alrighty, we've got... Well, I guess I'm going to start on the face now. That's going to be a really low bevel on there. Because of the width of this, it's going to be pretty low bevel. The wider you get and the thinner the stone is, you know, that affects the curvature of the top. I'd rather have the cabochon than the flat top one, even with the beveled edge. Okay, and you can see we're getting, yeah, you see there, getting towards the center. And it's going to be a low dome, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure this piece of agate's been dyed. Hopefully we won't lose too much of the color. The dyed color, I should say. I think it's starting to look better already. What do I know? mean, I'm just a guy that picks stones out of the driveway and makes jewelry out of them. Okay, let's take a look at what we have here so far. And yeah, you can see we almost have that dome completely done to the center. Yep, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Patience, that's all it is. Patience. Patience and a desire to make a stone the best version of itself. Okay, let's wipe this off and let's see if we got... Yep, look at that. You can see where it's grinding away, and we only have that very, very center portion to go yet to get the dome on. And of course, that will be the hardest part. But I think that's starting to come out really nice. Really nice, I say. Okay, and look at that. We pretty much got the dome all over it. That is what we want. Great, so I'm going to work this edge just a little bit. And then we're going to go over to the other wheel and touch it up before we decide whether we want to go onto a stick or not. And... Yep, very, very center there. You can see there's just a slight bit that has not been got yet. And I'm going to hit that again real quick. Let's see, did we get it? I believe we have. Alright, so what we're going to do next is head over to the other wheel. Hold on to your eyeballs. Alrighty, we are on the other wheel. And let's take a look here. Looks really nice when it's wet, doesn't it? Now I'm going to do this edge before I give that whole dome a nice 1, 2, or 4, or 5 over. I think the contrast in the what took dye and what didn't take dye is going to make this look pretty nice. I'm being big like this, I'm going to have to just slowly go over the whole thing. We may not have to go onto a stick. Wouldn't that be amazing? Of course, like I said 100 times, I do get a better job when it goes onto a stick, but we shall see. Try to get the entire surface sort of hit with this 300 grit and take a look, see how it looks. See? See, that dome is not very curved on the very center. I can feel it. I can feel it! Okie dokie, let me wipe this off. Yes, that is coming along pretty good. There are a lot of deep scratches from the 80 grit wheel. I do believe I'm going to have to put this on a stick to get them out of there. Let me see. Yeah, I can see I'm getting them out along the edges more, but that low dome at the top is going to take a lot of finagling. So I am actually going to rough this back up just a tad bit. Because if I don't, the glue's not going to hold really well on that super smooth surface, because I think they treated this with something on the top, on the, yeah, on the outsides. So that may have taken that off. Alrighty, so I'm going to go over to the desk, put this on a stick, and we will be back. Okay? And, oh, there it is. And we're back. And the wheel's going, water's going, and you can see, yeah, we got some gnarlies all over that. So we are going to be very gentle on this, because that's a big stone on a, still it's on a big stick, but it's going to have a lot of leverage to knock it off, and that's what we don't want. What we do not want to happen is to come dislodged from the stick, because that's quite annoying. We will zoom in a little bit. Now, I got to do the edge here, and I'm going to be afraid that's going to fall off the stick. That's a big stone, and yeah, I am afraid even if I hold on to it, it's going to fly off of there, and that's what I don't want to happen. I think I'm going to go straight to doing the dome, and I'm going to prop my fingers against this stone about everywhere I can get, just to try to keep that from popping off of there. Because if it did, I would be sad. As you can see, some of that color is coming out, but it's making some nice effects, even though the color is coming out. It's going to give nice contrast between the dyed blue and the normal white color of the agate. I can feel that dome is not exactly what I'd call nice and even, especially right there in that center portion. And down here it seems like we have a little bit of a high spot. Let's see what we got so far. Okay, focus. Okay, we are getting the gnarlies out. And yeah, up there got a little bit of a hump going, but I think we will be able to do it. We'll be able to make this stone the best version of itself. Although it may take a bit. Where's the water at? There, we got more water. Valves are being annoying today. What's life without a few annoyances here and there? The size of this stone and the gnarlies that's in there, it's going to take a little bit to get all that out of there. So now it's just a matter of patience and time. As big as it is, we may end up going to the next wheel and then finding they have a couple of gnarlies we have to get out and then go back to this one, which I would rather not do. But with some of these bigger stones like this, with that really low dome, that's what you end up doing. So it's better to take a little extra time, go over the entire thing, really, really good. And then you may not have to go back. And that's a good thing. Let's take a look. I'm really liking the way the color is on this. Really liking it. Okay, let's take a look now. That's looking pretty nice. If you dry it off a little bit, that will tell if it's really nice or not. Okay, let's see. Focus. Okay, we've got most of the gnarlies out of there. Now, I think we have enough gnarlies out that we can go to the next wheel. We might be able to get most of those out with that one. So, hang on to your eyes. And we're on to the wheel of the bad valve that I can't even turn today. There we go. And unlike usual, I'm going to go straight into the dome of this stone. Because if it happens to pop off now, it's easier for me to do the edge without the stick. Focus. Oh. Okay, that's not looking too terrible bad. I think we might be safe. Might be safe, that is. Might work the whole edge over on the edge side instead of doing the da-da-da-da-da. Just to keep from unsticking it. You don't want to be unsticked. That would be bad. Something this size, you want to make sure you're not going the same direction all the time. And even with a finer wheel, you'll have a chance of putting gnarlies in it. We don't want no darn gnarlies, you know? Not even Jacob gnarlies. That's the dad joke of the day. The dad, or the bad dad joke. The dad bad joke. You know what I mean. Okay. Wow, that stone is really pretty. Focus. Ooh. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice. Might be a few gnarly right in that area. But I think most of that's going to come out with the 1200 grit and the cerium oxide. Now, when this stone was flat, it had a nice shine to it, but it acts like a mirror instead of a dome reflection, which I don't like. And I said that earlier. I don't particularly care for that. I think if it's domed even slightly, you get a nicer reflection out of it. And that's what we want. To be nicer than it was. The best version of itself. And yeah, we got some gnarlies in there, but I really think that will be able to be taken out. That will be able to be taken out. Get the cerium oxide and the 1200 grit wheel. And I think I'm going to pop over to the 1200 grit wheel right now. And we are at the 1200 grit wheel. I'm not going to spend much time on the 1200 grit. You never really do. You know, pretty much what's in there ain't coming out. Gnarly wise, that is. If they're in there to stay unless I can get them out with the cerium oxide. I'll give this a quick going over. And then hit it with the cerium. The super polish. Okay. You can see we're already starting to get pretty nice. The dried off version will be more of a telltale. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. There are some gnarlies there in the center. But I'm still going to hit that with cerium oxide first before I go back onto anything. And a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to hit it with the cerium oxide right now. So next time I see you, I'll be at the desk and we'll see how this stone looks. Okay? Okay, we're back. And let's take a look at this. A little bit of zoom in, and I am very pleased with the way this came out. I mean, we got a nice smooth dome, nice even dome. You can see by the reflection, and it's reflecting the LED light lamp pretty good. There are a few fractures, like right in here around this swirly. I think that's a fortification line, I think they call it. There's one of those in there. I think there's a few more around there. And if you can see right on the very top, there's a few, yeah, I can get it right in the shiny. There's a few little gnarly marks yet that I could not get, that I didn't get out. Now I could go back probably and hit those again and get those out of there, but I don't think I'm going to at the moment because this stone is really, really nice compared to what it was. That is 100% improvement. 100% improvement. If this was set in like a nice silver bezel, that would be awesome. You know, and the back's pretty nice. I got the chips along the edges out. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that this stone is a win. So, if you liked the video, hit the button down there, subscribe, and keep checking because I'll be back with more things, more stones. That's what we do, stones and stuff. And if you can find a reduced piece of jewelry or a pendant that doesn't look too hot, pick it up, bring it home, and try to make it the best version of itself, because you could come up with something like this. And I'm sure this stone is happier than it was being in that plastic garbage metal stuff. Blech. So, thanks for spending some time with me, and have a good evening.